This Soto Christian Hospital. It is opened in January 2005, and its mission is to train African surgeons for Africa. So people come from all over Africa, not just Ethiopia, to come to this hospital and learn how to do surgeries. And these are all Christian, basically missionaries. And they do some good work. They go out into Africa and help a lot of people. So the hospital has 120 beds with 6 separate wards, pediatrics and OB and all the way around. They serve pretty much anything. They have 150 member staff, and that's including, the cleaners and sweepers. They have lots of sweepers. I've got to do more than sweeping, but that's what they call them. So an average cost of a surgery is $70. There's a kid who came over from Idaho, actually, and he was there for a couple of months. He needed an appendectomy while he was there. His whole hospital stay was $100. Yeah. And the way they can do that is because pretty much the family members do most of the actual care. And the family members bring all the food, they bring all the clothes, they do everything. And one interesting part of this is when you first get admitted to the hospital, you get a little prescription, and you go to the family goes to the pharmacy to fill it. And one part of that prescription is 2 pairs of gloves. So for the whole hospital stay, they have 2 pairs of gloves. So pretty much everything is done with bare hands, dressing changes and everything. And we went hunting one day for a bar of soap. Couldn't find a single bar of soap in the whole hospital. So one part of our ministry there, actually my dad did it, he bought a bunch of wall-mounted soap dispensers and a whole bunch of soap to fill it up with, so that by every sink there would be soap. So when I go back, we'll have to see if those are all intact still. And if you're interested in finding out more about it, there's the website. It's soto.org. So this is a surgery waiting area during dry season. During rainy season, it gets moved inside to one little tiny bench. And I would walk by and I would see patients wrapped up in only a sheet, hooked up to an IV pole, ready to walk right into the OR to have their surgery. So it's a little different than what we do here. This is the OR, and it's pretty well stocked. I mean, they do a pretty good job of staying as sterile as you can in an OR. And you can walk in, watch surgeries, whatever, as long as you have your little gown on and your little hair thing. You can watch pretty much whatever. This is the intensive care unit. The reason it is called the intensive care unit is not because it has monitors and everything. In fact, I think they have one pulse oximeter throughout the whole hospital. When I was there, it didn't even work. So it's called the intensive care unit because the patients get checked on twice a night instead of not at all. This is where all the post-op patients go for 24 hours. This is the pediatric ward. And as you can see, cribs and beds, and it's kind of a happy place because of the fun pictures on the wall. This is the one bathroom in the whole hospital. This is one of my favorite groups of nurses. This was on the graduation day. I taught each group for 2 weeks. And with our baby, which you will hear more about in a little bit. This is Stephanie and her 2 kids up in front, and then Kara and me in the back. Stephanie is in charge of orphanages in Ethiopia. She has 3. One is in Soto, one is in Addis, and one is in another town not too far from Soto. And she, like I said, takes the sickest babies into her home with her so that they can, until they're strong enough to be in the orphanage with a bunch of other kids. So, back up a little bit, but I was walking by her house one time, and she had a baby, and I asked her, so what's the deal with the baby? She said, oh, she told me what she does with them, takes care of them. And I said, well, if you ever need any help with babies, I can help. Next morning, we get a knock on our door from her husband saying, we have a baby for you. So this is Samuel. He was a week old, and as you can see, he's chubby and beautiful, but he had been abandoned by his mother. And even at a week old, he could feel the rejection. It was really amazing. I didn't think that at that young you'd be able to, but if he wasn't swaddled, he would freak out. And if he wasn't swaddled and you were cuddling him, he would push you away. Just like those post-traumatic stress kids, even at a week old. It's pretty amazing. So my job was to basically love on him and just teach him that it's okay to trust people again. Here he is getting a kiss from Kara. He has the most amazing blue lips. He wasn't sick or anything, but he still has them, actually. When I'd had Samuel for about 2 days, we went to visit the orphanage. We saw baby Hannah. Right here, she has beautiful brown skin, but when I met her, she was like a transparent gray color. It was, you could tell she was at death's door. She was vomiting everything she ate, and she was really lethargic, just did not look good. So I said, hey, we got to take her. We got to see what we can do for her because she's going to die if she's here. So we ended up having her for 2 weeks. And she got so much better in just a few days. As you can see, in this picture, she was mimicking facial expressions and talking and cooing. She was gorgeous. Well, her adoptive family, who had already planned on adopting her when she was first taken into care, they heard she was so sick and they decided to come over early to pick her up and so they could take care of her. Well, they were in country for about a month while they were waiting for paperwork to come through and everything. And the night before they flew to America, she died of pneumonia. Really, really sad. So these are the next 2 babies that I took care of, Millennium and Nathaniel. They were brought to one of Dr. Mary's clinics out in the rural area. What had happened with them was the mom had a postpartum hemorrhage after she delivered them, and so she didn't have any milk for them. And then all the land in Ethiopia is owned by the government, and pretty much you just lease it. You can lease it for 5 or 10 years at a time. Well, the government had just decided that this family shouldn't have their land anymore, so they'd just gotten their land taken away. So in addition to not being able to feed these babies, they didn't have any way to earn any money either. So they brought them to the clinic hoping that they would be able to be adopted to America. Well, with 2 living parents, that's not possible. So we agreed to take the babies for 2 weeks and just get them a little stronger and get the resources in place that the family could take care of them and they could stay in Ethiopia. So we took care of them for 2 weeks. Aren't they precious? They're called, Little Millennium has that name because Ethiopia has a different calendar. They're about 8.5, 9 years behind us. And so they're in 2000 right now, actually. It just turned over to 2001. But he was born in 2000, so that's why he's called Millennium. This is not Niall right after we got him. Look at those skinny legs. Getting his bath. This is little Millennium. He didn't like to sleep. So this was, of course, at 2 a.m. when he was all happy and ready to play.